3 weeks after her husband died, Linda Walker sat alone at her kitchen table, and for the first time in 42 years, she opened a bank statement. What she found made her hands shake, not because there wasn't enough money, because she couldn't find the money at all. No account numbers, no passwords, no retirement income schedule, no pension documents, nothing. The man she trusted with every financial decision was gone, and so was the roadmap to their future. But what Linda didn't know yet was that this confusion would soon attract someone watching from the shadows, someone who saw grief as opportunity. And by the time she realized it, nearly everything her husband spent a lifetime building would be at risk. If you're married, or if someone else handles the finances, this story may feel uncomfortably familiar, because Linda believed she was financially secure until one ordinary Tuesday morning when she discovered she had absolutely no idea where her life savings were. Linda was 68. Her husband, Robert, was 71. They lived in Ohio, a modest home. No luxury cars, no extravagant vacations, just ordinary people, the kind of couple everyone admired. Robert handled money. Linda handled life. That was the arrangement for decades. Their daughter Sarah often joked,
"Dad knows every account. Mom knows every birthday."
Everyone laughed. Nobody thought it was dangerous. Not even Robert, especially not Linda. Because when you've trusted someone for 40 years, you stop imagining a day when they won't be there. Then one evening, Robert collapsed in the garage. A massive heart attack. No warning, no goodbye. And suddenly, every financial responsibility landed on Linda's shoulders, a place they had never been before. Alone. The first clue came from an old filing cabinet, one Robert rarely allowed anyone else to touch. Linda opened it, carefully. Inside were folders, dozens of them, some organized, many outdated, several empty. The more she searched, the less sense everything made. One retirement account appeared inactive. Another statement referenced a company she'd never heard of. Several documents were years old. And then she found a note, handwritten, folded between tax returns. 3 words, "Update this later." Later never came. And suddenly, Linda realized something terrifying. She didn't know what was current, what was closed, what still existed, or what had disappeared. 5 days later, the phone rang. The caller introduced himself as Michael Turner, a retirement specialist, or so he claimed. Michael,
"Mrs. Walker, we've been trying to reach your husband regarding an important retirement review."
Linda felt relief. Finally, someone who understood, someone who could help. But something felt off, very off. Michael seemed to know Robert's age, their address, even details about retirement accounts. Enough information to sound legitimate, not enough to prove he was. And Linda, still grieving, wanted desperately to trust him. Michael called again, then again, then again. Each conversation became more urgent. Michael,
"There may be penalties. There may be lost benefits. You need to act quickly."
Quickly. That word kept appearing. Linda noticed another pattern. Every solution involved moving money. Every recommendation involved immediate action. Every answer somehow created a new problem. And every problem made Michael seem more necessary. That's when Sarah became concerned, very concerned. Sarah worked in healthcare, not finance, but she knew something about manipulation. She listened carefully, then asked one simple question. "Sarah."
"Mom, have you ever met him?"
Silence. No, she hadn't. Another question. Sarah.
Has he sent anything official?
Again, no. And suddenly the confidence Linda felt began to crumble, because for the first time, someone wasn't asking what Michael knew, they were asking what he couldn't prove.
Sarah started digging. Phone numbers, company names, licensing records, everything. What she found changed everything. The company existed, but Michael didn't, at least not there. The phone number wasn't connected. The email domain had been created recently, very recently, and the retirement review he described didn't exist. Someone had targeted a grieving widow. Someone knew enough personal information to sound believable, and someone was waiting for one transfer, one signature, one moment of vulnerability.
Thankfully, the money hadn't moved. Yet. But the emotional damage already had. Linda stopped sleeping, stopped eating normally, stopped trusting her own judgment. She replayed every conversation, every decision, every document, wondering how close she came, wondering what Robert would have done, wondering if she was capable of handling any of this alone. And that became the real battle. Not money, confidence. Months later, Linda met with a legitimate fiduciary advisor. Together, they rebuilt everything. Account inventory, income plan, beneficiary review, emergency contacts, a complete financial map. For the first time in her life, Linda understood where every dollar lived. Something unexpected happened. The fear started shrinking. Knowledge replaced confusion. Confidence replaced panic. And grief slowly stopped feeling like helplessness. Today, Linda shares her story openly, not because she's proud of what happened, because she's grateful for what didn't. Many widows never get a second chance. Many retirees discover missing information only after a crisis. Many families assume someone else knows everything until that someone is suddenly gone. If there's one lesson Linda wishes she could share with every married couple, it's this. Love is not a financial plan. Trust is not documentation. And someday, someone you love may need to find answers without you. So don't leave them searching through filing cabinets. Don't leave them guessing. And don't assume there's always time to explain everything later, because later is a promise none of us actually own. If this story reminded you of someone, or if you've ever faced a financial challenge after losing a loved one, share your experience below. Your story might help someone who's sitting alone at a kitchen table tonight, wondering where to begin.